today's tutorial, guys, is going to be a fun fold card. So this I am calling a triple panel crossover gatefold card. So this is that card right here. So if this is something you're interested in seeing how I create it, please do stick around. Welcome everyone. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Claudette with MsPuff Creative Corner. So I hope everyone is doing great. So this is the card in today's tutorial that we'll be creating. So let's go ahead. Let me give you the materials that I use and the measurements and get started. So this is a cool way of showing off your designer series paper or your scrapbook paper, or you guys would call it, some people would call it, or your printed paper, especially if they're double-sided. So we're going to be using this designer series paper here, and you could use whatever designer series paper. You're going to use whatever you guys have in your supplies. So this is the one I use on my sample card, but we're going to be showcasing or showing flipping it on the opposite side. Okay, so this piece is measuring 12 inches by 5.5 inches. All right, so let's go ahead and score that. So this is measuring 12 inches by 5.5 inches, and we're going to score on the long side. Okay, so we're going to score on the long side, and let's go ahead and we're going to score starting off at 2 inches. And when you're using your designer series paper or your printed paper, you just want to be careful when you're scoring so you don't break through that paper. All right, so we're going to go with 2 inches. Then we're going to go again here at, you know what, let me bring in my score tool, so a different score tool, so maybe you guys could see that a little better instead of having to open that up. So this is, so let's bring this in so I don't have to open the score and trimming tool. And then this probably would be easier for you guys could see and follow along. All right, so this is a Simply Score tool, and this is by Stampin' Up. Okay, so what we're going to do is go ahead and score at 2 inches. All right, 2 inches. Then we're going to come down here at 4 inches. I'm just looking at my cheat sheet here. 4 inches. Then we're going to do it at 8 inches. And I'm just slightly doing it so I don't rip that paper. And then again here at 10 inches. But sometimes it's so hard to see when you have your designer series paper. Okay, so that's the scoring for that. And that's all the scoring we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and put that up. All right, so you could see better here on this side. And see on my sample here, we had the pink showing in the inside. So I'm going to flip that inside out so we could have that gray rainy area on the inside. Okay. So next what we're going to do is we're going to fold this center piece right here. We're going to go in. All right, then we're going to fold this one out, and I'm going to try to line up those edges there and bring in my bone folder and try to get that edge nice and neat. So I just kind of mold it to that edge. So what we're going to do, as this one right here, we're going to fold this one in. Use our bone folder, get that nice and tight. And then fold this one out. I'm going to line up those edges. And that's how we have that right there. Okay, so next what I am going to do is, the other pieces that we're going to need is for the top of the card here. This white piece of cardstock is measuring 5 3/8 by 3 7/8. And then also what I'm going to use is some other pieces of designer series paper, and I am going to use the flip side. See, I use the umbrellas on this side, so I'm going to use the flip side of the umbrellas, all right, just to have a different look. And these pieces here right now, the cardstock pieces are measuring. You want two pieces measuring 1 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then I have one piece measuring 3 3/4 by 1.5, and those of it are in inches. Okay, so I just did it so I could have just some of the white edging showing. So I'm going to put the bigger pieces to the top and the bottom, and then the smaller pieces, the smaller piece right in the middle here. So we're going to go ahead and glue that down. So I'm just going to get my wet glue and add some here to the back here. And so I am just putting them exactly where I want it, so have an even space when I glue these down. But I want more space between the center pieces because I'm going to cut these in thirds. So next what I'm going to do is glue down the bottom piece. And then you want to line them up along the edges that they're lined up evenly as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect, and that's the beauty of using the liquid glue. Then I'm just going to do the middle piece is going to be the last piece that I put in, and I'm going to try to get those spaces even. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is bring in my trimmer. And then what we're going to do is cut in the middle of these two pieces so they could have a little bit of the white showing around those edges. And then this one here. All right, so we have these three pieces here. Next, we're going to bring in the base of our card. Then here we're going to line these up here. And I'm going to put the smaller piece in the middle, and then we're going to have the larger pieces to either end. And then you're just going to line that up like that. And then you're going to go ahead and glue these down. So when you're gluing those down, see, like for instance, this is how your card is going to open. Okay. So when I did one of the sample, is like I accidentally glue one on the wrong side. So if you're going to make multiple of these, just do it the same way each time. So on the top and the bottom, I'm going to glue on this edge here, and then in the middle portion I'm going to glue to my right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is bring it down like this. This is going to be the center, and then I'm just going to add glue on this portion here. And then I'm just going to line it up there to the corner and just maybe just have a hint of that blue showing. All right, and then I'm going to do the bottom piece. Okay, so the bottom piece, and I'm going to do the middle piece last. So next, the bottom piece, again, I'm just going to glue just on the left hand side, just like I did the top piece. And then just glue on that left side and just have a hint of that blue showing to the bottom edge. And I just want to make sure that it's lining up the same to the top there. Okay, then now the middle piece I am going to glue on this side, so I'm just going to put my finger right here to mark the middle, and then we're just going to add some glue to this edge right here and that right side. So I'm going to fold my paper down and then just line it up with the edges here. So we're just making sure that the papers are lined up nicely there. And then when you open it, that's how it's going to open. Okay, so then now we're just going to design the rest of the card. Okay, and then also what I did is to keep this flat, I just add something heavy on top of it. All right, so next what we're going to do is in the inside piece, what I'm going to add, let's do the inside first. This paper is measuring, this cardstock is measuring 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. These measurements are in inches. Then I cut out this little guy right here, and I cut him out of the designer series paper. And this particular designer series paper came with these large images, so I just cut one out with the scissors, and I am just going to add him to the bottom of that insert. So I'm just going to add him down here. Just seems like I had a little bit of glue on here somehow. Okay, so next what we're going to do is take our multi-purpose glue or liquid glue, add some here to the back of this. And you could fold that down like that. You could fold this down like this, and then add the insert here. And I just like a little bit of even it up so it could show those edges nicely like the blue. So you have a nice little frame. And then we're gonna come back here and then design the outside. So with this one I already had, I cut this out, I stamped it first, then I used one of my circle dies with the little stitching around that, and I put thanks for helping me grow on there, and I am going to pop this up with some dimensionals. So I am just going to add some dimensionals there to the top. You could do this a couple ways. You could add it to the top of this and then add this on here, you know, so that's going to be easier to show you exactly where you want it and you don't get any sticky down here. All right, so you could just mark it with your finger and add your dimensionals, Or like I said, if you want, you have an idea here where you want it to be, and then you could just add your dimensionals here too. You could add your dimensional here if it's going to be easier to mark that there. Okay. But I think it's easier for me to put my finger and know exactly where I want it to be. Let's go over. So I'm just going to add one to the top here. Take the back ends off, squeeze that down. Take the back end off of that. Then we're going to add that there. And that's how that's going to be. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is add a little ribbon. I'm just going to come in with this ribbon right here and create a bow. Let's cut this down. And let's bring in a glue dot. So we're going to bring in a glue dot, add a little glue dot to the back of our bow, and add that right here. Then what I'm going to do is bring in some little gems. And then we're going to add some gems, and in order to do that, I like to use my Take Your Pick tool. And then we're just going to add some of the blue gems here. So we're going to add one here, and let's add one here, and let's see. Let's add one there. So, and that is our card, guys. Okay, so what I did is, like, I just took like a punch or something like this that's quite heavy, or you could take your go ahead and take your bone folder and give that another nice little crease, but that's going to help it to stay a little flat. Okay, so you don't have to put a belly band or anything on these. Just lay it under something. See, that's already, I used the bone folder to make those creases a little tighter, and they start to stay there a little flat. So if you guys got creative value from this, you like what you see, go ahead and smash that subscribe button as well as the bell icon so you can be notified when I upload my latest video. So this is the two cards, right, using the same designer series paper, just flipping them over on the opposite side of it. Okay, and this would be a cute Father's Day card, right? So it's saying thanks for helping me grow. That would be a cute card. All right, so let me know in the description box down below which design you guys prefer. You could use this guy with any of your papers that you have within your stash. You could even use this with cardstock if you have the 12 by 12 cardstock measurements, or change up the measurements to suit your paper. I hope you guys got creative value from today's video. If you did, go ahead and smash the like button down below. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Claudette, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.